This is the most important election in a lifetime. If Boris Johnson and his cronies get re-elected, there will be hell to pay for everyone but the top 5% of us. For the average working person, people trying to get a job, the unemployed, for the nurse, the teacher, the lorry driver, the carer, the cleaner, the cafe owner, the beautician, the disabled, the sick, the elderly, the homeless, and our children, we will all be affected by the next 5 years of government policy, maybe more. We've already had 10 years of Tory government. Boris Johnson has played a big part in this. How have you personally benefited from the last 10 years of Tory rule? And from all this Brexit masturbation? The NHS will be sold off under the Tory government. Talks are already underway, and the leaked document showed by Jeremy Corbyn proved this. Especially because post-Brexit we'll be looking to trade deals with the US. If privatisation happens, we will all have to pay. We'll pay for GP appointments, run-of-the-mill consultations and assessment, ambulance call-outs, x-rays, the lot. And Boris Johnson's recent article in The Times, accusing EU migrants of taking this country for granted, takes things into a different, sinister direction. Imagine if EU migrants was replaced with Jews, or people of colour, or people in same-sex relationships. Doesn't that take things into a little bit more of a sinister realm? EU migrants are not taking this country for granted. They live and they work here and they pay their taxes. They are teachers, they are nurses, they are doctors, they're psychiatrists, they are cleaners, they are fruit pickers, they are lorry drivers. This is their country too. But look around you. Look at the streets, look at the number of homeless people, look at the increase in food banks, look at our overworked nurses and doctors, look at our broken social care system. Do you really want more of this? We have more food banks in this country than there are McDonald's. There are 1,300 McDonald's across the UK and 2,000 food banks. That has been since the last 10 years of Tory rule. 1 in 5 families are currently living in poverty. The Tories have cut 20,000 police officers since 2010. According to the Ministry of Housing Committee and Local Government, during the last government, the last Labour government, there was a 69% drop in homelessness. Since 2010, homelessness has risen by 165%. You only need to go to London to see the increase in rough sleepers. In June, an IFS analysis says that since 2009 and continuing, education spending has fallen by 8% per pupil. That has been from 2009 onwards. Economist Luke Sabita said it was the largest reduction in education spend in 30 to 40 years. A leaked report shows that within 5 years, the NHS will be short of 70,000 nurses. I come from a Jewish family. My grandfather experienced real anti-Semitism in Nazi Germany. He experienced it, he lived it, he witnessed it. In all his years and decades of being a member of the Labour Party, he has not experienced any anti-Semitism. To quote John Bercow, not a whiff. I don't mean to belittle the experience of Luciana Berger or any other Labour Party politician, and I cannot speculate on these isolated incidents. But I know that the Labour Party as a whole and Jeremy Corbyn need to be voted in this election. I trust them to make this country better. Here is a snapshot of their manifesto. It really is a manifesto for the many and not the few. A final say on the Brexit deal with a new referendum. Launch the Right to Food initiative to end Food Bank Britain. Create 8,000 new homes for those with a history of rough sleeping. Create a government task force to tackle the root cause of homelessness. Scrap tuition fees. Scrap universal credit, work capability and PIP assessments. End NHS privatisation and safeguards its future. Increase NHS investment by 4.3% and invest £2 billion to modernise hospital facilities. Abolish NHS prescription charges. Re-establish neighbourhood policing. Free broadband for all. Increase tax for those earning £80,000 or more a year. Kickstart green industrial revolution to tackle climate emergency. Ban fracking. Nationalise rail, mail, water and energy to save money on fares and bills. Increase the real living wage to £10 an hour for all. Introduce free personal care for the elderly. Extra £5.6 billion for flood defences. Crack down on tax avoidance. Increase public sector pay by 5% in the first year. Please vote Labour December 12th.